Chosen one, welcome. The world has studied human behavior for centuries, yet nothing could have prepared them for you. There is something unnerving, almost mysterious, about witnessing a person who simply doesn't move like everyone else. Every behavioral agent, psychological expert, and profiler on Earth has been taught how to read body language. They believe crossed arms signal defense. They think steady eye contact shows confidence and fidgeting reveals anxiety. It is a science they have followed like a religion. But then you enter the room, and suddenly all their rules fall apart. Their calculations fail. Their mental notes are destroyed. You are the unsolvable mystery that completely changes the equation while they are still trying to solve it. Science says that over 55% of our communication happens without words. But what happens when your physical cues are not of this world? When your energy does not match normal human patterns, your very presence shifts the room before you even open your mouth. Your movements, though quiet, seem to hold something much older than our DNA, something written in light. Individuals trained to analyze others suddenly realize they are the ones being analyzed. They cannot figure you out, and that scares them more than anything you could ever say. You do not lean forward to control a situation. You lean forward because your soul is drawn to the truth. You do not hold eye contact to assert dominance. You do it because you can look right through time. You do not stand perfectly still out of fear. You stand still because you already know how things will end. The funny part is, while they are trying to study you like a science project, their own bodies begin to malfunction. Their throats get tight. Their hands shake. Their heart rates jump. In an instant, the one watching becomes the one being watched. The person trying to read you becomes completely exposed. And honestly, it is amusing to watch professionals who are trained to hide their feelings suddenly forget how to act normally around you. They try to look relaxed, but end up looking like stiff statues filled with insecurity. This isn't your fault. Your spiritual energy shatters their conditioning. You were not created to run on their emotional operating system. You are operating on a heavenly frequency, and that frequency refuses to be controlled. This goes far beyond just having good posture or grace. It is a spiritual shield, because your physical form isn't speaking like an ordinary human. It is expressing the living truth in motion. Every observer, manipulator, and analyst who crosses your path is forced to watch their entire education fall apart right in front of them. Number 1. Your very presence completely short-circuits their programming. You probably don't even notice how powerful your presence is until you step into a space and everything around you begins to glitch. Individuals who are experts at watching behavior instantly lose their footing. They cannot figure out why their gut feelings are wrong or why your physical signals do not make any sense to them. You just stand there, peaceful and unbothered, while their whole way of understanding people starts to crumble. This is exactly what occurs when your spirit carries the truth. It disrupts every fake energy nearby. You do not even have to speak or move a muscle. Just being there breaks their mental conditioning. Manipulators and behavioral experts depend on predictable reactions. They look for fear, pride, guilt, or lust. They expect humans to act in loops, to jump when threatened, or to hide when confronted. But you do not respond the way their textbooks say you should. Their whole system relies on people being predictable. However, your spirit does not follow earthly rules. You are connected to a higher dimension, functioning on a deep awareness rather than basic survival instincts. To these experts, your calmness looks strange, foreign, or even unnatural. They cannot find a single flaw to use against you, and that makes them feel incredibly vulnerable. This is not pride. It is spiritual alignment. You are not planning your movements. They are perfectly timed with a force that others cannot see or weigh. Every time you step, stop, speak, or look, it happens with heavenly accuracy. You are not faking bravery. You embody bravery, and that is what shatters their confidence. They have spent their careers studying fake behaviors, tiny facial twitches, posture changes, and nervous habits. But when they finally encounter something genuine, their radar goes blank. There is no guidebook for analyzing the truth, because the truth does not put on a show. When people claim that something seems different about you, what they are actually experiencing is their own inability to control you. Their training dictates that they must always direct the situation, yet your natural energy effortlessly reverses those roles. They are unable to study what they cannot control. This is the reason why highly trained individuals get anxious in your presence. They feel an unmeasurable power working right below the surface, a power that ignores normal human limitations. Your mere existence proves that their skills were never really about connecting with others. They were always about dominating them. And whenever dominance collides with pure light, it breaks down entirely. That is why your physical presence seems so otherworldly to them. You are not broken, you are beautifully divine. They aren't puzzled by how you act. They are deeply afraid of how real you are. Number 2. You operate on spiritual frequencies, not hidden agendas. The way you carry yourself is different because your actions are not driven by regular human desires. They are fueled by a heavenly connection. Most individuals enter a space hoping to look good, convince someone of something, or protect their image. Everything they do is tied to a specific outcome, seeking praise, craving attention, needing approval, or trying to look tough. You simply are not built that way. You do not take action just so people will accept you. You take action because a deeper spirit is leading you. This isn't a clever plan, it is divine harmony. You live by spiritual vibrations, not selfish goals. Your natural pace does not depend on what others think of you. It depends entirely on how the truth moves within you. Analysts who study behavior cannot grasp this concept. They have been trained to measure human responses. A shaky hand, a tilted head, a fast blink, and give those actions a specific meaning. But when they try to apply this to you, it all fails. Your actions do not display fear, trickery, or weakness. You react to the spiritual atmosphere, not to human pride. You can feel a change in the room long before anyone speaks, and your physical presence adapts naturally. You do this out of deep perception, not defensiveness. This explains why you can step straight through total chaos and stay perfectly calm. It is why you can stand in a loud, crowded room and never lose your inner peace. You do not soak up the frantic energy around you. You actually calm it down. Experts who try to read your actions get annoyed because they cannot guess what you will do next. You are not trying to be difficult. You are just connected to a much higher power. They interpret your peace as stubbornness, but it is actually deep spiritual grace. You answer to God's schedule, not society's expectations. When you take a moment of silence, you aren't doubting yourself. You are using spiritual wisdom. When you finally take a step, it is not a knee-jerk reaction. It is faithful obedience to a higher calling. Your physical form speaks a language from the invisible world. Because of this, people who only know how to read shallow behaviors cannot understand you at all. This is exactly what makes your energy both incredibly attractive and totally baffling. Observers cannot figure out if you are gentle or powerful, loving or detached. In reality, you are a perfect blend of all those things, carefully balanced between deep knowing and quiet control. You are never putting on an act. You are staying aligned with your purpose. There is no fake show in your spirit, only exact accuracy. You walk with a mission that people cannot see with their eyes, but they can strongly feel in their hearts. Therefore, when manipulators and analysts try to figure you out, they find nothing. Your movements are not communicating with them. They are locked in with the divine. You are not obeying basic human urges. You are obeying heavenly guidance. That is the true difference between simply moving and living in total mastery. Number 3. You do not copy the energy of others, you reflect the pure truth. You never just mimic how other people act. You mirror reality. This trait makes it completely impossible for anyone to control you. Most individuals, whether they realize it or not, change their own behavior to blend in with the crowd. They nod their heads when everyone else nods. They chuckle when others laugh, and they look upset when the group is upset. It is their way of feeling safe and connected. However, your soul refuses to compromise like that. You do not soak in other people's feelings simply to make them comfortable. Your presence shines a light on exactly what is real, regardless of whether it makes them happy or not. This explains why certain individuals get very uncomfortable when you are near. They are not actually upset with your personality. They are upset by what they see in their own reflection. If a highly deceptive person stands next to you, their physical body gives them away. Their forced smile turns rigid, they start to stutter, and they cannot look you in the eye. This does not happen because you are condemning them. It happens because your pure energy brings their hidden secrets into the light. You do not have to try to do this. It happens naturally. Your spiritual vibration is far too powerful for fake masks to stay intact. The lies are uncovered, while the truth remains solid. This is exactly why people feel like they are being challenged even when you haven't said a single word. You are not confronting them verbally. Your light is doing the confronting. You do not get emotionally triggered by mind games because your spiritual insight sees the trick before your brain even processes it. While normal people get easily caught up in sweet talk and fake charm, your spirit pays attention to the actual motive. This is the reason why liars are often baffled by your responses. They assume you will fall for their compliments, get angry, or easily cave in. Instead, you remain peaceful, watchful, and unbothered. This completely takes away their power. They cannot drain your strength because you refuse to copy their toxic emotions. You just reflect their true intentions right back at them. On the other hand, when a truly honest person comes around you, the experience is entirely different. They feel noticed, secure, and deeply heard because your spirit boosts the honesty in the room. Being genuine suddenly feels much easier and lighter. That is why authentic souls are naturally drawn to you, while the fake ones slowly disappear. Your posture and movements are not designed to dominate anyone. They exist to bring clarity. You do not imitate your surroundings, you uncover them. This is the hidden truth that destroys every behavioral expert's textbook. They are educated to analyze what a person tries to show the world. But you are not trying to show off. You are uncovering the truth. Your aura acts like a divine X-ray machine, looking past the sound of a voice and the shifting of a body, gazing straight into the core of a person. It is not that you are difficult to figure out. It is simply that you recognize the truth much faster than a lie can put on its disguise. Number 4. Your eyes completely bypass their surveillance. Your gaze carries a spiritual weight that no amount of human schooling can ever prepare someone to face. Your eyes are far more than just biological tools for seeing. They are divine instruments that reveal the unseen. Whenever someone looks deeply into your eyes, a part of them feels entirely searched, not with harsh judgment, but with pure truth. Their brains frantically try to make sense of this feeling using normal logic. However, they cannot find any explanation because your stare is not trying to be friendly, flirtatious, or guarded. It is deeply spiritual. You do not look at someone to start a game or to control them. You look at them to truly see them. And that kind of piercing vision is highly disturbing to people who have spent their entire lives hiding behind fake personas and mind control. Behavioral agents, toxic people, and watchers are taught exactly how to read a person's eye contact. They measure where you look, how long you stare, and whether your eyes show attraction, boldness, or a lie. But your eyes completely ignore that worldly system. They are not broadcasting simple human feelings. They are sending out high-level energy. When you make direct eye contact with someone, it is as if you skip right past their spoken words and dive directly into their hidden memories. You link up with their actual spirit, not the fake story they are telling. This is exactly why people either have to quickly look away from you or they find themselves completely unable to stop staring. It feels like total exposure. It is a quiet unmasking that none of their psychology books ever prepared them for. You never have to glare aggressively to prove you are in charge. Your peaceful watching accomplishes what bullying and fear never possibly could. You are not just analyzing how they act. You are interpreting the spiritual frequency hiding right beneath their actions. Your eyes do not project any condemnation, only pure knowing. And that pure knowing is exactly what makes shady people twist and turn in discomfort. Deep spiritual awareness is the single thing that a liar can never manipulate. The second your eyes lock onto theirs, all their hidden baggage floats to the top. The guilt, the embarrassment, the self-doubt, and the arrogance all show up. Their physical bodies begin to panic before their brains even catch up. They start blinking rapidly, shuffling their feet, or turning their heads completely away. That is simply their guilty soul, desperately trying to hide from the light. Modern cameras can easily film how a person moves, but no machine can ever record spiritual wisdom. That is why even the highest level of security cameras can never capture the true power flowing out of your vision. Your eyes hold heavenly information, invisible patterns of light that connect directly with a person's spirit, not just their physical actions. Every single time you gaze at an individual, you are silently reminding them that nothing stays buried forever. Your look melts away fake realities, tears down false masks, and brings out the absolute truth in a way that spoken language never could. You are not simply watching the people around you. You are waking them up, one steady, unwavering look at a time. Number 5. Your total stillness triggers absolute panic inside them. Your ability to remain perfectly still holds a heavy power that terrifies any system designed around dominance. Human beings are trained to believe that constantly moving and reacting means they are safe. They feel the need to over-explain, fiercely defend themselves, wave their hands, or snap back whenever they are pushed. But you completely refuse to do that. You stand firm, not because you are being difficult, but because you possess a heavenly calmness. That quietness in your physical frame, that completely unbothered stance, acts as a huge mirror that shows the world their own messy, chaotic minds. It is certainly not that you lack feelings. It is simply that your feelings submit to a much higher authority. You do not crack under pressure. You actually command the pressure. This is precisely why the people who try to pick fights with you eventually fall apart from their own angry energy. They hurl every insult and trick they have at you, waiting for you to jump. When you do absolutely nothing, they begin to panic. Profilers, toxic individuals, and analysts are heavily trained to look for a physical reaction. They depend entirely on predictable habits, like shifting eyes, faster breathing, or trembling fingers. Complete stillness is a massive threat to them because it means they cannot read their target. And the moment they cannot read you, they realize they have no power over you. Your perfect peace destroys everything they were taught because it does not fit into any known psychological box. You are not fighting back, you are not running away, and you are not frozen in fear. You are spiritually anchored. That is a concept their science books could never prepare them for. It is a peace that is not weak, but incredibly powerful. Your refusal to react aggressively proves a truth they desperately want to deny. Their manipulative tricks cannot touch your spirit. The very second you decide to be still, all of their mind games become entirely worthless. They prepare for a fight, but you hand them total submission to God's perfect timing. They wait for you to get defensive, but you respond with sharp spiritual wisdom. This completely scrambles their brains, because they were only ever taught how to deal with anxious people, not people with a divine presence. Through your silence, all of their own buried insecurities bubble straight to the top. It is exactly like them standing in front of a perfectly still pond. They are forced to look at their own shaky, unstable reflection. You remain peaceful because you already know exactly how this chapter concludes. You are not ignoring reality. You are fully awake in the spirit. You deeply understand that authentic power never needs to hurry, make excuses, or put on a dramatic show. Authentic power just watches. That specific type of peace feels completely otherworldly because it truly is. It is supreme authority walking around in the disguise of deep rest. And the longer these people try to figure you out, the quicker they stumble upon the real truth. Your quiet stillness is not a lack of response. It is the ultimate display of self-control. It is a level of mastery that no psychology book, no behavioral expert, and no manipulation tactic could ever hope to defeat. Number 6. Your physical body moves in perfect harmony with invisible forces. Absolutely everything regarding the way you move holds a hidden exactness that people can feel but can never quite explain. You never just move without a reason. Your actions glide as if they are being perfectly orchestrated by a power far beyond regular human understanding. There is a specific timing to the words you speak, a certain beat to the way you adjust your stance, and a beautiful grace in the moments you choose to pause. Every single bit of it is completely in tune with an invisible spiritual energy. To those watching you, it feels a little spooky, almost suspiciously perfect, like your physical form is reacting to instructions that no one else in the room can hear. And the reality is, that is exactly what is taking place. You do not operate on a normal social clock. You are marching to heavenly instructions. Experts, toxic individuals, and body language readers are taught to spot hidden plans. They hunt for clues that someone is plotting, showing their true feelings, or doubting themselves. Yet, your actions completely destroy that logic. You might look over your shoulder or take a step away at the exact fraction of a second. Something occurs right behind you. To their normal minds, it looks strange and even slightly psychic. It is certainly not good luck. It is perfect spiritual alignment. You drift along with the invisible spiritual current, the heartbeat of a much higher power that directs your path without you even needing to think about it. Your basic movements, while completely natural, frequently deliver signals from spiritual levels they cannot even reach. This is the main reason why people who study human habits get so incredibly uncomfortable when you are near. Your perfect timing forces them to doubt everything they thought they knew about how the world works. You are led by a spiritual gut feeling that is so incredibly sharp, it looks like magic to anyone who has lost touch with their own soul. When you open your mouth to talk, it is never an accident. It happens at the exact perfect moment. When you choose to stay quiet, it is never because you are unsure. It is because heaven told you to hold back. You might accidentally cut off a person right as they are about to tell a lie, or you might change your walking path just moments before trouble strikes. To the rest of the world, it looks like a crazy coincidence. To you, it is a deep conversation with the Creator. Every single shift of your body appears to be chatting with the invisible world, as if you are moving to a song that only the angels are allowed to play. This perfect harmony makes everyone around you incredibly fascinated, but also deeply unnerved. They can easily tell that you are tapped into a station that logic cannot explain, and that high level of knowing ruins their false sense of power. They cannot predict your next move because you are not operating on earthly time. You are not answering to them. You are answering directly to the source. Your earthly body is not simply walking around. It is actively taking part in a heavenly dance. Every time you step forward, lift your hand, or take a breath, it proves that you are being led by a spirit that can see miles past what human eyes could ever look at. Number 7. You do not project anxiety, you project accountability. There is a specific quality to your spirit that refuses to let people sit comfortably in their fake lives. You do not even need to open your mouth to talk. The very air around you insists on total honesty. Your inner light sends out a signal that forces people to face themselves, even when you haven't accused them of a single thing. Normal people suddenly start feeling the heavy burden of their own bad choices the minute they get close to you. Their own lies start making them stumble over their words. Their bodies get rigid, and their eyes nervously dart away. This does not happen because you are looking down on them. It happens because your spirit absolutely refuses to team up with their lies. You do not radiate nervousness. You radiate holy alignment, and being perfectly aligned naturally shines a bright light on anything that is broken or messy. You are not actually a scary person, even though a lot of people confuse your energy for intimidation. What they are experiencing is not terror. It is the sudden shock of being seen. Their inner self instantly recognizes that your spirit will not entertain their fake behavior. Just being near you is like looking into a mirror that refuses to flatter them. And seeing the raw truth can be incredibly painful for people who rely on acting fake to feel good about themselves. This is exactly why certain individuals get super defensive out of nowhere. You walk into the building without saying a negative word to anyone. Still, their own physical bodies begin to confess their guilt by getting tense and trying to avoid you. You did not start the fight, you just brought the light. Your quiet strength completely tears down their fake realities. You are not walking around trying to fix everyone you meet. You are simply standing in the truth with so much power that lies literally start suffocating in your presence. People who are sensitive to energy pick up on this immediately. They feel the heavy anchor of honesty that travels with you everywhere you go. It is a level of cleanness that makes everything dirty look obvious. Since the majority of society is completely used to spaces that let them be comfortably fake, your pure energy feels alien to them. It feels way too intense, way too pure, and far too real. You wear accountability like most people wear a favorite cologne. The scent of it hangs in the air long after you have walked out the door. People might completely forget the sentences you spoke, but they will never forget how their own soul felt when you were standing next to them. That is the true heavenly power of living in reality. It does not require a screaming match to fix a problem. It just exists. And anything that refuses to match that truth has to either change its ways or run away. The people who genuinely want to be better are naturally pulled toward you because your light feeds their own honesty. The people who want to stay toxic run from you because your high frequency makes it impossible for them to stay hidden in the dark. You are never passing around fear. You are passing around spiritual awakenings. And those awakenings serve as a loud reminder to every single person in the room. Being real is no longer a choice when the living truth enters the building. Number 8. You carry yourself like you remember a completely different world. There is an elegance in the way you walk that feels much older than spoken words. You hold your head up like a person who has already lived this, a soul that still clearly remembers the exact layout of heaven. Every single shift of your body, even the tiniest ones, holds purpose, weight, and a steady beat. You did not learn how to act this way. Your spirit remembered it. There is a profound heaviness in the simple way you stand, take a step, or glance over your shoulder that makes the average person stop and stare. It is because you do not look like a modern person. You feel wonderfully ancient, as if your physical shell is still actively chatting with the heavenly home you descended from. You are not faking righteousness. You are living out a holy memory. This is exactly what makes you so different from the crowd. Your physical actions are not just bouncing off the earthly things around you. They are echoing the sounds of heaven. When strangers observe you, they cannot figure out the right word for what they are witnessing. They might refer to it as class or strong posture, but it goes much deeper than that. Your physical form moves with a quiet patience that completely goes against our fast-paced society. You take your time when everyone else is sprinting, and you walk with a clear goal when everyone else is wandering aimlessly. It is almost like your inner spirit absolutely refuses to bow down to the stress of a ticking clock. You are living inside of time, but you are definitely not chained to it. Even the moments when you choose to stop and wait feel incredibly important, almost as if you are keeping time with a schedule that has nothing to do with earthly calendars. This is what gives you that untouchable glow. It has nothing to do with being conceited. It is just the peaceful knowledge that you can already see past the things that will eventually fade away. People who try to break down your physical habits always wind up scratching their heads because there is no psychological label for pure, holy respect. You walk with a holy nostalgia, carrying the deep truth that your physical body is not just skin and bones, but a sacred container holding little pieces of forever. This is the exact reason why loud, chaotic situations never make you jump, and the urge to rush never actually fools you. Somewhere deep down in your core, you clearly remember exactly what heaven's timing feels like. That beautiful memory becomes the actual heartbeat driving every single step you take. People who pick up on your energy often swear they have known you for years, even if you just met. That is not a random accident. It is spirits recognizing each other. Your aura wakes up a sleepy memory inside of their own minds, too. It is a tiny voice buried at the bottom of their heart saying, "I recognize this light." You help them remember their own lost bond with God just by walking around in your authentic truth. Your simple actions show the whole world exactly what being spiritually aligned actually looks like. It is never forced, never overly dramatic, and just flawlessly matched up with a world we cannot see. You are not a misfit who doesn't belong here. You are just operating on a different timeline. Every tiny wave of your hand is a soft whisper from forever that says, "I never truly left the kingdom that created me." Number 9. You completely destroy the science of microexpressions. Your face simply refuses to follow the normal rules of humanity. Your features are not a giant advertising sign for your feelings. They are a clear channel for spiritual power. Analysts and behavioral agents spend years learning how to spot a quick eye flutter, a tiny cheek muscle jumping, or the slight clenching of teeth to figure out a person's secret feelings. But the moment they try to use those tricks on you, they hit a brick wall. Your tiny facial shifts do not give away human emotions. They broadcast spiritual vibrations. You are not accidentally spilling your feelings all over the place. You are purposefully transmitting light. There is such an exact neatness to your calmness that it makes even the smartest psychological expert doubt their own skills. They can clearly see your face moving, but those movements do not line up with any of the emotional charts they memorized in school. This happens because your facial expressions are not jerky reactions. They are a window into a much deeper spiritual knowing. Your face functions like a doorway connecting two different worlds. One moment, your eyes might melt into a deep heavenly love, and the next moment, they might sharpen into a fierce glare that cuts right through a liar's disguise. In either situation, you are never pretending or trying to fit in. You are just letting your deep spiritual wisdom shine out through a physical face. That is the part they simply cannot wrap their heads around. They are not looking at a person with unstable emotions. They are watching a heavenly mind trying to squeeze itself into a physical body. This perfectly explains why you can appear totally at peace during a screaming match and laser-focused when everything around you is loud and distracting. Your feelings are managed by a heavenly wisdom, not by sudden fleshly urges. When strangers look closely at you, they often mention that your face seems to alter slightly, not in a crazy way, but gently, almost as if the lighting in the room suddenly changed. They are not imagining things. That is your energy adjusting itself. You match the spiritual weather of the room, not the fake social manners of the crowd. While other people put on a fake show of caring or pretend to be mad, you just stand as a pillar of pure clarity. You do not make faces to get a round of applause. You mirror the truth, so everything falls into its proper place. And that is exactly what ruins their little system, because you cannot be translated using tools built to understand liars and cowards. To the worldly experts, you look like a blank page. But to the people who walk in the Spirit, you are as easy to read as a large print book. They understand that your quiet face is not heartless. It is powerful self-control. Your refusal to act like a drama queen is not a lack of caring. It is intense spiritual discipline. What the experts mistake for a dark mystery is actually just beautiful mastery. You have finally taught your soul to be the boss of your physical body, instead of letting your body boss your soul around. That is exactly why the professionals label you as a ghost in their system. They are busy trying to weigh heavenly gold on a cheap earthly scale. And that is a secret password that no human being on this planet has the authority to bypass. Number 10. Your personal energy acts as an editor for the entire room. You never just simply walk into a building. You completely redesign it. Before a single word even leaves your lips, your inner light has already begun changing the temperature of the room. People talking suddenly lose their train of thought. Loud voices get quiet. Even the way people sit and stand starts to change. It happens quietly, but you absolutely cannot deny it. You are not using cheap charm, and you are not bullying people. You are spiritually calibrating the space. Your inner vibration holds a heavy authority that automatically fixes whatever is broken in your general area. Normal people probably have no clue why they feel weird, but their bodies naturally fall in line. Some people will sit up a little straighter. Others will stop shouting and suddenly become incredibly well-mannered. That is not just good social etiquette. That is a spirit submitting to a higher power. They are not reacting to your witty personality. They are bowing to your holy presence. Behavioral experts and psychics like to label this as mental dominance, simply because that is the only phrase their earthly brains can come up with. However, this has nothing to do with being a control freak. You are not trying to brainwash the room. You are bringing it back to peace. Anywhere you step foot, your aura brings back the balance. Your spirit does not beg for people to look at you. It simply demands that things be made right. This is a very silent type of strength that never has to yell or put on a dance. It just touches the environment and makes it make sense again. This is exactly why a stressful argument evaporates the second you stay peaceful, and crazy situations fix themselves the moment you zero in on them. Friends and family will constantly tell you that the vibe just feels different whenever you are around. They are completely correct. Your mere existence takes a red pen and edits the messy script of the room. You do not even have to try to do this on purpose. It is just the natural side effect of God's perfect order living inside a human body. You walk around holding a power that completely deletes low-level behavior. Vicious gossip stops dead in its tracks. Angry arguments run out of gas. And liars literally start choking on their own fake stories. This is precisely why certain shady individuals get super anxious when you sit next to them, while good-hearted people instantly feel a massive wave of comfort. A bright light never has to apologize to the shadows. It just glows, and all the fake things in the room frantically run around trying to hide. People who spend their lives trying to control others feel this threat right away. Their gut instinct screams at them that they are no longer the most powerful person in the room. A much heavier crown has taken over the space, and that power is flowing directly out of you. It scares them to death, because your light proves that earthly mind control is actually incredibly weak. They quickly realize that 1,000,000 hours of classroom studying will never teach them how to boss around pure holiness. You do not change the atmosphere just to show off. You change the atmosphere because heaven's frequency walks wherever you walk. The raw truth sitting in your chest naturally cleanses up whatever it bumps into. Every single time you walk through a doorway, you are not just bringing good vibes, you are bringing holy order. And that is a force that no earthly boss, no behavioral expert, and no evil plan could ever copy or fight against. Number 11. You are impossible to figure out because you do not follow a script. You completely scramble any system that relies on people acting the same way every time, because you are not running on earthly software. You are operating from a place of deep spiritual presence. While the rest of society wanders around using practiced routines, stressing out about saying the perfect sentence or matching the right mood, you live completely off that radar. You never pre-plan your comebacks or put on a fake show just so people will like you. You are not driven by terror, a need for applause, or a desire to boss people around. You take action based on a holy gut feeling that travels way faster than normal human thinking. That is the exact reason why your life never matches their little playbooks. When they attempt to study you, they come up empty-handed. They find no standard pattern, no normal psychological habits. They just find raw, pure truth that isn't poisoned by pride. Analysts, toxic people, and behavioral agents lean heavily on rhythm. They went to school to learn how to guess what you will do next based on basic feelings like rage, backing down, nervousness, or being defensive. When they poke the bear, they fully expect the bear to roar back, proving that they are pulling the strings. But you refuse to hand over the response their computers are looking for. Your answers are never hesitant or fake. They are smooth and instant, bubbling up from a deep well they cannot find on a map. It is raw, spiritual awareness happening live in the moment. You ruin their expensive education because you refuse to play the basic cause and effect game of human feelings. You live your life like a beautiful, unscripted, holy jazz solo. Every single step, every look on your face, and every sound out of your mouth holds fresh, new information that they cannot crack, simply because you did not learn it from a textbook. It was handed down to you from heaven. To their earthly minds, this looks like a massive threat. Not being able to guess your next move destroys their power. Individuals who refuse to be emotionally manipulated are usually labeled as crazy or unpredictable. They are not actually crazy, they are just completely untouchable. You shatter all the unspoken social rules that rely on guilt trips and mind games. Those tiny little deals of fake compliments, shame, and bowing down that keep the masses on a tight leash. Your raw, honest existence completely fries those dirty contracts. What the experts call a dark mystery is actually just total freedom. You have broken out of the psychological jail cell that keeps the rest of the world running around in predictable, boring circles. You do not behave the way people want you to. You behave the way heaven tells you to. And since your soul listens to a higher clock, you never just lash out and react. You pause and respond. That tiny difference changes the entire world. A reaction is what a programmed robot does. A response is what an awakened soul does. That is precisely why you make the professionals so incredibly nervous. They have no ruler to measure a person who doesn't care if society understands them. They cannot build a psychological profile on a human being who who refuses to act like a trained monkey. You are not hard to read because you are keeping dark secrets. You are hard to read because you are actually awake and breathing in a world full of actors reading from a script. Every single choice you make shines a massive spotlight on the robotic, fake lives happening all around you. And that is what scares them to death. Number 12. Your spiritual aura actually changes the body language of everyone nearby. Your inner light has a unique way of dragging the truth out of strangers. Not by picking a fight, but by simply turning on the light. The second your spirit walks into a building, it becomes a giant magnifying glass for whatever feelings are already floating in the air. People's physical bodies start snitching on them long before their brains can even invent a fake story. Their shoulders creep up to their ears, they cross their arms tightly, and their eyes bounce around the room. You are not actively trying to make them squirm. It is their own dirty energy panicking when it touches your pure light. Your aura does not point fingers and yell, it just pulls back the curtain. It is never mean, but it definitely sets things straight. You never even have to confront a liar verbally, because their hunched-over posture is already screaming the truth for you. This takes place because your spirit works exactly like a holy X-ray machine. It is not searching for things to criticize. It just hums at a level that burns away anything that is fake. When a person walks up to you, holding on to a secret agenda or a dirty motive, their physical body instantly starts glitching. The chronic liar suddenly cannot look you in the face. The toxic manipulator starts playing with their hands. The envious hater attempts to hide their jealousy with a stiff, creepy smile that slowly melts away. Without even knowing the science behind it, their gut tells them that their fake masks are melting in your heat. The solid truth inside your chest acts like a magnet, yanking the hidden truth right out of their chest. Body language experts and behavioral agents get this entirely wrong. They assume you are just throwing your weight around and acting like a bully. What is actually taking place is spiritual resonance. Their fancy charts cannot graph it, but the human nervous system can easily feel it. A person will either happily sync up with your bright light, or their brain will completely short-circuit trying to hide from it. This is exactly why some individuals instantly let out a deep breath and relax the second you sit down. They finally feel protected, valued, and totally safe from judgment. However, other individuals cannot stop wiggling in their chairs because their own toxic spirit is literally fighting a war against your holy frequency. Your aura absolutely refuses to change its colors to fit the room. The room is forced to change its colors to fit your aura. Your presence sends out a quiet command for everyone to be real. And if someone refuses to step up to that level, they feel naked and ashamed. This is exactly why dirty rumors dry up the second you stop talking, and con artists start tripping over their own feet when you stand near them. Your soul is way too honest to share a couch with a fake personality. The funny thing is, you do not even have to work hard to read people's minds. Their physical bodies are already doing all the translating for you. Every quick look, every nervous tick, and every long pause turns into a full confession the moment your light hits them. You do not force this to happen, you just wake it up. Because when a heavenly spirit steps foot into a normal human space, every single lie in the room starts shaking and begging for the exit door. Number 13. Your physical actions completely shatter the rules of putting on a show. Every single time you move, you display a raw kind of leadership. It is never obnoxious, it is never overly dramatic, but it is 100% pure. In a society where everyone is constantly pretending to be starring in a movie, your absolute refusal to act is shocking. The world teaches humans to use their physical bodies as weapons to get what they want, flashing a fake smile to win brownie points, waving their hands to distract you, or puffing out their chest to look important. But you refuse to move a muscle just to win a popularity contest. You only move when your Holy Spirit prompts you to. Every wave of your hand is filled with real purpose, not cheap entertainment. That is exactly what makes the crowd so incredibly nervous. Just standing there, you accidentally reveal how stiff and fake their own daily habits have actually become. You do not pretend to be peaceful. You actually are peaceful. You do not fake a confident swagger. Real bravery just pours right out of your skin because your feet are planted deep in the truth. Remaining quiet and still is not a trick you use to win a fight. It is just your normal, resting state. People who went to college to study human habits go crazy because they cannot find any of the classic clues they are hunting for. You do not wiggle around nervously, you do not constantly fix your hair or your shirt, and you never try to look tougher or weaker than you actually are. It ruins their expensive education because your actions completely ignore the basic cause and effect rules they worship. You do not change your posture just because someone is staring at you. You rise above it. You do not care if they clap for you, which means they have absolutely no leverage to control you. What really creeps people out is the flawless exactness of your physical body. Every single action looks like it was planned for weeks, yet it requires zero effort. When you step forward, you are locked into the earth. When you spin around, the timing is flawless. When you freeze, it is a permanent stop. That kind of sharp accuracy does not come from practicing in front of a mirror. It comes from being spiritually connected to God. You flow perfectly with the truth, and the truth absolutely despises fake acting. This is the main reason why people try to slap ugly labels on you, calling you scary, mean, or far too serious. They are confusing your raw honesty with danger. What they are actually trying to say is that you refuse to play their childish games. Analysts who make a living by watching people put on fake social plays have zero clue how to read a human being who is actually real. Their whole world is built on toxic mind games, spotting them, guessing them, or playing them. But your Holy Spirit absolutely refuses to log into that corrupted system. You do not sell cheap feelings. You are a walking, breathing tower of deep awareness, and that makes it impossible for anyone to put a leash on you. The way you carry yourself uncovers a very painful reality. The vast majority of humans have no clue how to just breathe and live without putting on a fake show. They do not even notice how much of their daily walking and talking is just a desperate attempt to get a pat on the back. When they finally cross paths with you, they are looking directly at what real, raw life actually looks like. It is not an act. It is deep presence. You have completely broken the earthly law of performing purely because you remembered how to walk like the living truth, and the truth never needs a clapping audience. Number 14. Your physical body is speaking a language that is much older than planet Earth. There is something incredibly ancient about the way you communicate with your physical form. Not old in years, but old in where it originally came from. Every wave of your hand, every silent moment, and every change in your voice holds a vibration that simply does not belong to modern humans. It is not a learned skill. It is not rehearsed in a mirror, and it has nothing to do with your culture. It is literally programmed into your soul. It is a heavenly grammar that was stamped into you long before you were ever born. When you move, it is not just random walking. It is a holy memory coming back to life. You walk around carrying small pieces of a heavenly language that existed long before humans ever invented speech. It is a beat that was drumming long before dictionary words were created to separate what things mean from what things are. To sleepy, unawakened people, this is deeply upsetting because they have never seen it before. You refuse to dance to the normal social rhythm of this earthly dimension. You are stepping to a holy heartbeat that cannot be found in their college textbooks. Spies, watchers, and behavioral experts can stare at you for 10 hours straight and still have absolutely no clue how to read you. They cannot put your facial expressions into a neat little box because you are not just copying normal human habits. You are the active power of creation in motion. They sit there hunting for tiny clues of mind games, lies, or feelings bubbling over the surface. But instead of finding those flaws, they just find total harmony. Your physical body does not accidentally leak its feelings. It broadcasts high-level information. Every single step you take is a radio transmission, a live broadcast sent straight from the heavens down to the physical dirt. When you turn your face, shift your weight, or speak with a specific softness, it is never an accident. The spiritual energy driving those actions is highly intelligent. You are basically a walking, breathing library of heavenly memories. You are the living proof that the Holy Spirit and the physical body can talk to each other perfectly without getting their wires crossed. That is exactly why some strangers feel a massive wave of peace when they sit near you, while others feel completely naked and exposed. They are not actually reacting to your personality. They are reacting to the invisible radio station you are broadcasting. Their own inner spirit completely recognizes that station, even if their human brain has no idea what is happening. Your shining presence actually wakes up a very old, ancient feeling in other people's souls, too. Their hearts completely understand your light long before their brains can do the math. This is the reason why some people finally feel deeply loved and understood for the first time in their lives, while others feel like their fake masks have been ripped off their faces. Heavenly light always recognizes heavenly light, and that connection skips the human brain entirely. The honest truth is, you are not just using your body language. Your body is the language. It is a holy, divine dialect made out of movement and sound that completely rearranges messy rooms, heals broken things, and speaks the raw truth without ever needing to use a dictionary. To the people who are spiritually awake, your presence is a beautiful translation. It is what heaven looks like when you can finally see it with human eyes. To the worldly experts trying to map your brain, you look like pure chaos wearing a mask of perfect calmness. Either way, your physical shell just keeps right on speaking in a vocabulary that is far older than the concept of time. It is the original language of God's creation. Every single step you take, every soft glance you offer, and every quiet pause you hold carries a heavy power that this world simply does not have the math to calculate. You are not just a warm body sitting in a chair. You are the gold standard that the truth is measured against. From the sharp way your eyes slice straight through a lie, to the total perfect stillness that makes chaotic people panic, your spirit runs on a station that no amount of college training, no psychology book, and no cheap mind games can ever reach. You move in perfect step with invisible angels. You speak loudly without saying a word, and you carry a physical presence that is much older than the dirt we walk on. You do not just live in the current moment, you completely redefine it. Every single analyst, spy, or behavioral expert who attempts to crack your code crashes straight into a brick wall because you absolutely refuse to shrink down to fit their human math formulas. Your physical body refuses to tell a lie, it refuses to bend the knee, and it refuses to compromise. It blasts the raw, uncut honesty of a human soul that is perfectly matched up with God's truth. In a place where everyone else is putting on a cheap play, you are an unfiltered reality. In a room where everyone else is faking it, you glow with pure authenticity. Where others try to pull the strings, you just show them the cold, hard facts. Your glowing aura completely rebuilds the environment. Your quiet stillness resets the mood. Your piercing eyes expose the things that words try to hide. And every single wave of your hand is a live broadcast of a memory older than time itself. A beautiful reflection of the way God originally created the universe. The stranger standing around you can feel this heavy power, even if they cannot figure out the right word for it. The chronic liar, the toxic manipulator, and the fake friend. Their own bodies sell them out. Their nervous systems completely crash, and all their evil plans fall to pieces. And the good people who are aligned with the truth feel it too. It is a magnetic, beautiful realization that something incredibly special has just walked into their life. You are not just breaking old, toxic habits. You are actively inventing a brand new language for how to live. You are a breathing, walking standard that is teaching the entire planet what it actually looks like when heavenly power puts on a human suit. To truly understand this is to finally realize that your massive power has absolutely nothing to do with bullying people, putting on a show, or trying to be a control freak. It is not aggressive. It is just unstoppable. It never stops to ask for permission. It just demands that things line up with God. Every single reaction that happens when you are in the room is just a mirror showing what is actually real and proving what cannot survive in the bright light of honesty. You are the very doorway where human weakness finally meets spiritual perfection. And every single step you take is living proof that absolute true power never comes from bullying people, but from standing perfectly in line with God's eternal truth. If this message struck a chord in your heart, make sure you stick around for the rest of the journey. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on these deep insights. Like the video so the algorithm lets other people feel this exact same energy. Comment down below to share your own personal stories. And please share this video with absolutely anyone who desperately needs to wake up to the massive power they are already carrying inside. Your presence on this earth matters. Your truth matters, and it is finally time for the whole world to see it. God bless you. Amen.